What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game preview, another special Kickstarter preview. And today I'm very excited to be checking out Dirty Detectives for Project Danger. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages, I don't know, say about 10 and up. It'll take you about 20 minutes to play. And in Dirty Detectives from Project Danger, you're going to be playing as, well, dirty detectives trying to frame one of your opponents for murder. Sound intriguing? It's a micro game. Let's open it up and see how it works. Alright, then we're going to take a look at Dirty Detectives. Now, as I always like to mention, this is the promotional copy I have in front of me, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. So first and foremost, we have a handy-dandy rule sheet. 1 page, single-sided, no pictures, no color, but this is also, might be an early version of the rule sheet I have here, I don't know. This is going to be a rule sheet that will get you up and running in no time at all. You'll probably need it 2 or 3 times and then never really need it again, because it is a micro game, and it is a very simple game to learn and to teach. So, what you're going to do in this game is you're actually going to be playing dirty detectives. You're not going to be clean detectives who, try and figure out who committed the murder. In this game, you're actually going to be trying to plant a motive and a weapon and point them towards one of your opponents, reveal them on your turn, and that person, will go to jail, and you will be getting a promotion, I assume, but you'll be winning the game. So that is what you're trying to do in this game. You're going to try and point the arrows of a motive and a weapon at your opponents, and then reveal them on your turn, and if you can do that, you'll be the winner. But that doesn't make much sense to you right now, so let's go over how the cards work. Now, there's going to be 3 kinds of cards you're going to get in this game. Before we get into those 3 kinds of cards, I do want to mention there is 1 additional card included in the game that you will only mix in a 2-player game called the Tip, but we won't go really into that one too much. So the 3 kind of cards that we're going to get into are the motives, the weapons, and the tips. Now, the motives and the weapons we'll go over first because they are all the same. Even though they will have different artwork on them, like so, and different flavor text, they're actually going to be the exact same and give you the exact same special ability. So, when you decide to reveal a motive, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to rotate any other card 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. So this is going to let you rotate those arrows so you can potentially point them at your opponents. Next, you're going to have weapons. When you reveal a weapon, we'll get into more of how revealing works in a second, this is going to let you secretly look at a card adjacent to this card without changing its orientation. So you will know a valuable piece of information about what is on the game board. Last but not least, tips will do various different things. And as you can see, I mentioned that the motives and the weapons are the same. All the tips are going to be different, and they will do different things. So this one, for instance is going to allow you to rotate any 3 cards not pointing to yourself 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. So that can be very, very powerful because just the motive itself will let you do 1. This tip's going to let you do 3. So let's get into how the gameplay works. When you start the game, you're going to set out all 16 cards, and you're going to have 1 additional card that is going to go to the first player. Now, how you set out the cards really does matter, because in a 2-player game, 8 arrows are going to be pointed towards you, and then 8 at your opponent. In a 3-player game, all the cards are going to be facing away from everyone, because obviously you can't divide 16 by 3. And in a 4-player game, you're going to have 4 cards pointed at each player. So it's not always going to look nice like this. It's going to get messed up and jumbled like so. So the first player who is going to go is going to look at what card is in their hand, and then they're going to pick up one of the 16 cards on the board and secretly look at it as long as it is faced away from them. So I could not look at this card, but I can look at this card, and I will. So let's see, I got a weapon, which means I have 2 weapons in my hand, so it doesn't really matter which one I play back down, because now I have to choose which one of these cards do I want to play down on the board. Now the thing is, when I play it down, it now has to go towards me, which remember is bad, because that means I'm going to be essentially putting a weapon pointed at me, which means that's halfway to someone else winning the game, but they don't know what this card is, so it's not a big deal. Now I have 2 options at this point. Obviously I'm going to play a weapon, so that doesn't really matter, but I can either reveal the card, which means I'd play it face up like this for a second, and then get that special ability, so then I would get to secretly look at a card adjacent to it, so I might look at this one and say, ooh, I got a tip. Maybe I'll use that tip next time. Or I can put it back face down, which means only I know that piece of information. So you have to kind of balance that out. Do you want your opponent to know that there's a weapon right there? No, you don't, but you might really want to use that special ability to look at one of the cards around you. Then you're going to take that remaining card, you're going to pass it to the player on the left, and they are going to repeat. So once again, just to refresh your memory, they are going to draw a card that is not pointing towards them, so they might take this one right here, and they got yet another weapon. And so they would just then decide, you know what, I'm going to do the same thing, but now the weapon is pointed towards them. And I assure you they're not all weapons. There's tips and motives scattered about through here. But when you do finally think that you know that someone has a weapon and a motive pointed at them, on your turn, instead of taking your turn, you are going to look at both those cards to see if you're correct. And let's see. Nope, I was horribly, horribly incorrect. You're going to either flip those cards up if you're correct, and then you win the game. But if you don't, what's going to happen is you're actually going to flip both of those cards back towards you, which is really, really bad, and then lose your turn. So you're going to pass the card on there. Now, one other interesting crinkle in the game is you don't have to be completely sure before you make an accusation. So, for instance, if you thought the player over there is about to kill you the next turn, you can just say, you know what, wild card, and just flip over 2, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I got lucky, and you might win the game like that. But that, in a nutshell, is how Dirty Detectives is played. Ogre Dokery, Dirty Detectives from Project Danger, coming to a Kickstarter near you very, very soon. Who might be interested in this game? First and foremost, if you like micro games, look no further. This is 18 cards, which brings me on to the other point, that this, I'm sure, is going to have a very small package. So that's going to be great, because you can put it in your book bag, put it in your lunchbox, put it in your pocket. If you like portable games, this one might just be for you. Also, it is going to be a game that is very, very simple to learn, to teach, and to play. It says 20 minutes, and I'll tell you what, you can probably knock this out in, I'd say, 10 or 15 minutes, no problem, once everyone knows how to do it. And as long as nobody has analysis paralysis, which, you know, I don't really think is going to be the case in this game. It has that simple mechanism of draw one and then play one. But this one, you don't have to play it. You can choose not to play it. So that is something that's going to go by very, very quickly. Last but not least, I really do think the theme is a cool theme. I think there's not enough themes like that where you're playing a bad guy, you know, especially a bad detective, trying to plant evidence and you know, get someone else arrested for a murder. So I think that's a really cool theme. But that's Dirty Detectives from Project Danger. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, check out the Kickstarter link below. Tell them Bowers Game Corner sent you. So, in the comments below, let me know what is your favorite cop TV show or movie. When it comes to movie, my favorite cop TV show of all time is hands down The Departed. I love The Departed. It's probably my third favorite movie of all time behind Inception and Pulp Fiction. Absolutely adore it. When it comes to TV shows, gotta go with Michael Chiklis and The Shield. Fantastic series. I love Michael Chiklis. He is the greatest anti-hero that I think I've ever seen in TV. But let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite cop or detective show / movie? And as always, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. And thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the preview for Dirty Detectives. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.